All right. Time to turn off the music. Time to get serious. Ish. Ish. I have no idea what I'm doing. But happy Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, everybody. I'm glad we have awoke today and started our day. Hopefully it's after 1 p.m. Hopefully everybody started their day by now. I am down here at the studio today, working on establishing how I want to do these training videos and what all is going to be involved with these training videos. So that's fun. And you know what? I thought about adding LinkedIn on here. Let's do that. Oh, let's add LinkedIn. Boom. And it looks like, hello, LinkedIn people. Joseph Sunderman here, and I am streaming live on a Saturday, May 10th. May 11th is tomorrow. May 10th, 2025. I started the effort of, I acknowledged back in 2019 that with the direction and what I'm wanting to do with helping businesses just look killer and operate in a operational excellence state of things using technology. I love technology. I'm passionate about technology. I've had so many different jobs, and I can get into that a little bit more later. But as a high school dropout, somebody that had aspirations to make it somewhere and saw school as something getting in the way of my education, getting in the way of my aspirations and ambitions. I didn't see school as a tool, not in Kenton, Ohio, not for a creative that has been through a lot of shit, right? Like if you played sports and your parents had the resources to have involvement in the community or them to even be present or be involved in the child's efforts. Like it didn't work for where I was. I didn't have mentors. What I did see though was people playing shows, doing things that I wanted to do. And I saw myself being able to get there pretty quick. So I dropped out of school to play music. Didn't work out so well because when I got around 25 years old, 24, I told the band, like, I'm done. This is not working for me. I got to go to plan B. Plan B was to go to school. I even told them I'm going to make enough money and be successful enough where I can play with people that have done the same thing, that aspire to do more. And who knows, I haven't really, yes, I still play music. I enjoy music, but that's not where I'm at today. Today, where I'm at is I want to be a rock star in the business world. And LinkedIn is where it is. So in 2019, when I had the understanding that this is the route things were going, video. If you're not doing video, if you're not making content, you're not going to be able to ride the big wave. So, and we can talk about that big wave, but it's crazy because I've always been after this thing that I've recently put a label on, but haven't had a label for it throughout my life. It's the desired state of things. I've even told everybody around in my circles that I'm writing a book called The Desired State. And hell, for all I know, there could already be a book called The Desired State or Desired State, something along those lines. I don't know. But I do plan on writing a book called Desired State, and if I have to shift the title around to make it work for me, but that's what I'm after, is the desired state. And it's not so much about, because we all have our own desired state. I can't tell you what your desired state is, but what I can tell you is what's your desired state, what I love this influencer named Simon Sinek. He's the Start With Why guy. Fairly well known. In 2015, he gave a TED talk, Start With Why. He wrote a book about it and all this other stuff. Has a few books, Leaders Eat Last, and a couple others that I really, really like. And I told myself, like, maybe someday I'll be able to get to a place where he will entertain allowing me to be on his show or vice versa. And I aspire to be something along those lines, and the desired state is my Start With Why. So, and this has all been evolving and developing over the last several years. See, during the pandemic, I took a big time out. I had to. We all did, didn't we? I mean, it was like world was. So I did. I went out and I out through the webs, not outside, but out through the webs, I started doing some deep dives into self-reflection. You know, I was hitting a lot of roadblocks, not getting where I wanted to be. But while at the same time, on the personal side, things were flourishing, right? Like my beautiful wife, Mina, who I love dearly, my kids, getting my son, custody of my son, and still fighting in court for my daughter. But having a great relationship with both my kids, despite everything going on, having a beautiful home. I never thought I would live or be in a beautiful home like I'm in today. And it's not easy. In fact, things are really stressful right now. There's seasons that you go through, right? And as you ride it, life tends to have these roller coaster rides, but what you want to do is get it to where it's more, it needs to be more subtle. I don't like these big, career change, not at your, not due to anything that you wanted to happen, right? It wasn't part of your plan, because matters happen. And if you ever work with me in my coaching and my systems that I develop, you'll learn that matters are very important. Objectives are very important, and matters are very important. Time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get through this week on your journey towards your desired state? And what if something comes up during your week that completely takes you off, completely derails that desired state you were working for? I mean, what happens if you get in an accident and you can no longer use your legs, and you wanted to be an athlete, and using your legs was the primary part of whatever sport you wanted to play? Now, granted, some people can still pursue something they love. It's just not going to be at the same level. Like, for instance, basketball. There's people that can't use their legs that can still play basketball. Would they rather be able to do it? Yeah, but life happens, and you cannot control. There's a lot of things you can't control in life. The only thing you can truly control and have full control over is you and your decisions. So by God, own that. That's on you to truly understand what you can control. And what I realized when I was going through everything in 2020, the reason why I started doing some self-reflection, because I wasn't getting the traction I wanted with business. I needed to make some adjustments. It wasn't easy. So yeah. Anyway, those adjustments led me to find Stoicism, which I thought was awesome. I started looking into Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius and his journal entries. People made them into books, and you can look them up. It's amazing. The insights you'll get when you start diving into Stoicism. At least it was for me. And one of the biggest things is, being kind. God, if you would have grown up with the mother I had and a guy named Butch as your stepdad, which I love my dad, great guy. Good people, but still the way they handle themselves, the way they carry themselves, the way I learned to carry myself, and the things that I have to unlearn in order to be successful or to get to the state I want to be in, which I'm sure neither of my parents had mentors or resources to help them get to the state. And if they did, would they have listened? Again, it's up to the person whether they want to get to that desired state and whether they truly own that it's on them to get there. Yeah, I have a tendency of going all over the place too. The message isn't clear, Joe. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I have the ability to come into whatever efforts are happening, whatever operation is happening, whether it's personal or business. I can come in and see, if you don't know your desired state, if you don't know your why, you don't know your purpose, you don't know where you're going, first of all, we got to figure that out. But we got to maintain life. You can't just drop everything. You got obligations around you. You may have kids, you may have a home with a mortgage. Like, you can't just quit your job and go do the thing you love. If it was that easy, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be truly doing what I love, and everything would be so easy. But that's not the world we live in. Watching TV and getting your hopes up on certain things will get you to, growing up watching TV will get you to have a reality mindset that just isn't reality. Your reality is engrossed in the stories that you've watched and observed. And in the meantime, in your own circle, what kind of household did you have? Did you have a household where your parents would let people come over and party at your house and hang out? Or was your household very secluded? Would they not let people over? They didn't want nobody in the house. It was not many friends. Fortunately for me, I did have the ability to be very social. I had the ability to, parents were like, don't mess with me. Let us go do your own thing. And I was left at my own accord to do whatever I wanted. So it's really messed up. The looking back and seeing how my development turned me into the person I was. I'm still super ambitious, got great results, but my attitude, God, I was such an asshole. So yeah, Stoicism helped me with that. And then getting on to learning about, business and learning how to engage with people and to truly listen, which is a skill. Some of us are naturally great listeners. Some people, like myself, it's a skill that you have to learn, because I was left by myself so much to my own accord to do things as a young kid, figure it out on my own. As I get older, I don't really need to work with anybody. I can do this myself. And when somebody asks me a question, it's like, okay, you're in the way. Like, I never took the time. I did to some degree. I'm good at social skills, or I wouldn't be where I am. Bottom line is you want to be able to communicate clearly, and you need to be able to listen to others in order to truly meet them where they are, which is a big component of what I do, meeting them where they are. How do you understand where they are, and then how do you take yourself, I don't want to say down level, like we're talking down to people, because that's not what this is. This is like, how do you come over to their part of their reality and help them see, because a lot of times they're not going to believe certain things. Oh, I don't want to use that system. That system is horrible. They've never really lived in it. They just heard these stories, and now they have this fear. So truly understanding where somebody is and what obstacles you have that they're putting in front of themselves, essentially, they're living in it. They're in the minutia of it. You're somebody that wants to help them come in and help them find out what their desired state is and help them to get to that desired state. That essentially, to listen to them and hear where they are. Like, I have clients that, oh wow, they are so far behind in technology. I want to get them there. And this is where I was in 2020. Let's get there now. Let me do this. Let's do that. I remember for this one veterinarian hospital, like, VDI was great. And they had all these instruments, measuring instruments and testing instruments for the pets and their blood work and all the stuff that had to talk to these machines. And here I am trying to give them a cloud solution. Well, we have, network adapters. We can make this, USB connected device, a web of device through this. I was trying to modernize them like overnight, and I ended up losing that client, which was horrible. Great friends with the owners, and they loved me. They hated the switch. They hated doing it. And I could sense that they were genuine when they told me that. I just wasn't able to meet them where they were. And that was a big lesson for me. So when 2020 realizing that video is where things were going, taking the time to do some self-reflection, find stoicism, learn communication skills, learn how to listen better, and then practicing these things over the last 5 years in business, focused on business, grind, like, I wasn't hanging out with the family. I wasn't playing video games. I wasn't being, basically just nonstop working, obsessed with it. And what happens there, you'll get burnout. And you'll also put so much strain on your family. And your ambition may have taken you so far to where you've hurt your family, which it sucks. And I have. And, you know, that bed I lie in. And the only thing I can do now is be focused and work towards getting things on the right track and finding that beautiful fabric, right? Like, that's part of what I've done. And all this is because I obsess over this stuff and I want to be the best husband. I want to be the best, you know, coach. I want to be the best technology provider. And I want to be, yeah, I don't know what drives all that, but that's just where I am. So taking time to be calm, taking time to really focus on family first. And yeah, I think part of it is, you know, what's that? Life is short. You only live once type thing. I can't remember what the phrase is for it. Something Maury. But life is short. I'm 45 years old. This was my midlife crisis, maybe, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that being authentic, being real, putting yourself out here on video, this isn't easy. And this is my professional LinkedIn page I'm going live on. This is the first time I've went live on LinkedIn in quite some time. Last year I did 34 shows called Sessions. And when I got full custody of my son, I said, I'm going to take a break. We'll pick this back up next year. So here we are next year. It's May. And Joe Sunderman, which is an old colleague of mine, not me, another gentleman that shares the same name as I do. We've talked, and he's going to be on an episode, which I'm excited about. Yeah, I have these workshops I want to get done. I have so much I'm trying to get done. And I've wanted to do it all, and I've been having it all work, like, laid out in front of me. And what I've learned is I got to have a system to work all this. And I don't know, I'm just rambling today. I got the studio set up. I got camera 2 here. Well, actually, this is camera 1. This is camera 2. But I just, yeah, I got it plugged in backwards. I guess I could switch them, but I'm not that pressed about it. But this is my A camera. This is my B camera. And then we have our friendly C camera here, so that way I can write stuff on this here board, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing and follow along. Which, yeah, let's go ahead and see. I want to make sure everybody can read this. It is May 10th, 2025. Whoop. So I guess if you can read this okay, the C camera is doing its job, and that makes me happy. So I haven't tested my audio yet. I usually do that at the beginning of my live streams, but at some point I need to start trusting that I'm good. But what if I was going through the whole thing and the audio wasn't working? I'd be devastated. So let's go test the audio real quick. Plus I want to see this board, what it looks like. That'd be helpful. All right. Get your old Facebook here. All right. Get your old Facebook here. All right. Get your old Facebook here. Well, I suppose I should do some more talking and then come back to this in a second and listen to it. But I still want to see if this board is working here. So let me go ahead and step off to the side here for a second. Let's zoom in on that. And I'll come back in here and we can listen and see where we're at here for a second. Let's zoom in on that. And I'll come back in here. And we can, yeah, we're good. We're good. We sound good. I don't know. It might be a little too loud, might be clipping. May not be perfect audio, but yeah, we got audio here at least. What happens if I hit this automatically adjust? Is there a lot of background noise? Yeah, I better keep that setting on. All right. Sorry about the little sideshow here. Just making sure we're looking and sounding good. I guess I could put on my headphones so that way it's not bleeding through the damn thing here. But anyway, what I want to talk about today, what we're going to get into, now that I've given some background and talked a little bit about where I am and how I see things and my, I don't know. Bottom line, the gist of the story is 2019, I found out that video is very important for business. 2020, the pandemic happened and I had to focus on myself and get better at communicating and working with people in collaboration. Fast forward to 2023, to start the Master Tech Plan. Things are, going well for Icora. Rigid 6 is starting to make some content for clients, and I'm starting the creative tech with the Master Tech Plan. Well, Master Transformation Plan, if you will. The Master Transformation Plan is basically going to be my, that's my big money maker there. I was conflicted on where to put the Master Tech Plan, whether that was going to be more of a separate thing on top of the IT service providing, but now we've realized that the Master Transformation Plan is going to be part of Creative Tech, which will fall under Navicore, which is going to be a new entity. So that way we can hit the ground running with a new, fresh brand. All right, let's go back and check this audio out again real quick. Now I made some adjustments to the settings. Yeah, I think that's good. I do hear some background noise when I'm not talking. I hope I'm speaking clearly and all those good things. All right. Yes, sir. Now, we get to talk about some workshop shit. Clean up my little situation here. So essentially what I'm going to be doing, I'm live streaming while I do this. What I'm doing here is I'm going to work on my workshop. I'm going to explain some pieces. This is practice. So feel free to give feedback wherever you'd like. But I'm going to actually hit record on the cameras. The only issue is this camera here, boom. I don't have a card in that guy. And I don't know if I have an extra card with, ooh, shit. A7 III to the rescue. Look at that. Scratch that. Let's make sure there's nothing on this card. And again, I'm practicing, so why not go all out and practice everything, including sharing the screen and letting you guys in on some of that. So let me go back to my camera here. Present, share screen. Boom. All right. Oh, I guess you guys would want to see the screen. You know, I need 2 monitors. I don't want you guys seeing all this noise, right? Like, why do you want to see all that noise? Whoop. So what I'm doing right now is I'm setting up these dual screens here. Here, I'll switch to this view. So essentially I come over here and I'm going to make my iPad Pro my second monitor. There we go. And now I'm going to stop presenting that screen and we'll share entire screen, screen 2. And we share that. Well, that's a little jittery. Yeah, I don't know. These both look stupid to me. Yeah, nope. We'll bring you over here and you over here. Because I'm facing that way. So that would make it cleaner, right? Over there. Look at the screen over there. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so what we did here is we put in the camera's card into the computer. We're going to see if we have any clips. Oh, we do. Look at this. That's an old one. Not my first day practicing, as you can see. Oh, some AI footage. I must have never even got this footage off of my damn thing. Okay. We got some videos, so I don't want to just let those go. Those are spread out kind of November through February. That last one I don't need. That one was kind of stupid. Definitely want these. I'll organize those more later, but yeah, cool. So there we go. We got the ability to share a screen, as you can see here. Why not show my name Creative technologist, that's who I am. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's go ahead and put up some cables. Let's go get a card in this camera, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to record as I'm doing this, and I'll be able to go back later and crop out and edit even the 3 different video angles, 1, 2, and 3. I'll be able to get all 3 of these angles, including the screen recording of me sharing my screen, and I'll be able to edit those down, or have somebody edit them, because I don't edit. None of this will probably see the light of day. Again, I'm practicing, and I'm hoping that as I get better at this and I start having final products and I do start editing and putting stuff out there, my hope is that others around me will want to do this as well, and I want to help them evolve. That's essentially what I do, is as I get better and I learn how to do things. When I was 19, I dropped out of school to play music and travel, and that was fun and awesome, and I was good at it. It wasn't going to provide me the lifestyle I wanted. If I would have found the right set of guys, maybe we would have been providing enough entertainment to where we could have made a successful living just playing music. But I think there's a place. My purpose wouldn't be just to play music. I love educating people. I love teaching. Music is just a part of me. Yeah, so I got to do more. I have to do more. Let me get this card in this camera here. You should be able to hear me just fine, because I got the microphone on my chest here. So I'll just walk around and play with this camera here for a second. We're going to get you reformatted so we can clear you off now that I moved the data off of you. Oh yeah, make sure we take the screen and flip it out, because these cameras can get hot, and I'm recording all this in 4K. 60 frames a second. I'm not sure I would want to slow it down. I could probably do 24 and be just fine, but whatever. This one's at 24 frames. Looks good. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, if we had somebody here, this switcher wouldn't be on my desk. I'd have somebody sitting off to the side, and they would be watching the stream and being able to just flip through the camera that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't even need to think about that. I know that they'd be skilled enough to know when to flip to this camera because I'm writing something on the board, to flip to this camera because I'm showing or doing something here on the table, and people get a better perspective of that when they're on this camera here. They can see me, maybe picking up a camera, and like, you have options when you're editing the footage. Yeah. I was just going to put this on the table as like a prop type thing, but I think it's just noise. All right, so obviously it's May 10th, 2025. I'm going to yeah. So again, everybody, welcome. Joseph Sunderman here, and I'm streaming live on LinkedIn right now, but we are also practicing setting up and doing workshops during the stream. So I need to do a workshop on how do you get to your desired state. And Are you looking for real transformation? Is there something going on with your business that you don't like, or your personal self that you don't like, and you want to transform? You want to shift, because you can't. You are you. You are everything that you've done up to this point. You just can't transform like that. You have to start doing things and become, in a habitual way, habit forming. You have to become something else if you want to get to your desired state. And I'm telling you right now, there's some components that you need to focus on personally, whether you're talking business or not. You need to be eating well, sleeping well, mentally sound, making sure you have a good circle and relationships. You need to make sure that you have, some form of security when you go home, a place to sleep, and like, you have to have the basic necessities taken care of, and you have to maintain that while you're transforming. So there's a lot to this, and same goes for a business, right? A business wants to make improvements or transform and not be in this legacy technology space anymore. They want to now have modern technology. Well, you can put all the new technology in, but if you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to adopt it and put it into play in a meaningful way, yeah, you're going to be in trouble. So, what I'd like to do to start off, is talk about time management. Time management. How do we manage time? So time management, I break things down starting with a triennial. Let me just say this. I don't know how to spell the word right now, triennial, but it's a 3-year cycle. So we start with a 3-year cycle. And the way we break those 3 down with the Master Transformation Plan is this is your focus. This is the 3-year span. And you want to have a start and stop to this. So if you're starting today, it's a beautiful time to start, because you're going to be aligned with what I'm doing. Right now, it's 2024. Oh my God, 2025. Sorry, 2025. I was thinking 23 is here. 2023 is the beginning of the tech plan. We've had 24, and now we're in 25. So this is us right now. And that number 25 right there, that is us right now. What we're doing is, and everything I'm talking about right now, even these videos we're talking about, is preparing for 27. So why do I have 23 up here, 29 down here? And why am I talking about a 3-year span when it's 2025 and I have these right now as marked as this is the current one that we're working towards. We're developing this one. We're living in this one. So this one here is it's currently present. This is the one we're working towards, and this right here, this is the future. Okay? So what we're doing is everything we're talking about today. You want to start preparing, start doing these habits and get in a flow, so that way the next 3 years, you're going to develop yourself you're going to transform yourself, hopefully in a 3-year period, into what you're trying to make happen. Now, the way we do business is every 3 years, we improve and develop this thing out more. And once like in 2022, we were done. We were solid in 2022. We were like, okay, 23 tech plan is done. We're done developing it. It's solid. It's locked in. Boom. So as we get into 24, we have these new things we're wanting to try or start, because new technologies come out, things happen. We're not going to make them part of the tech plan right away. We're going to put them in as, these are betas, or these are us, testing things out. This is a trial, if you will. So as we go through trials through the year, we're asking ourselves, does this need to be part of the next triennial system, the next 3-year cycle? For instance, we were doing wellness checks in 22. So we don't look back past this point. So we did have a 20, 21, 22, and then you'll have your 32. So there's past ones. We only look at the one we're working on, the past and the future, or the one we're in, past and future. Right now, we're so towards the end of 2025, not the year 2025, but through the 23 tech plan, we're at May of 2025, meaning we only have 6-7 months left, and then we're into the new cycle. So all I'm trying to do is explain to you that if you get yourself set up, even personally, set yourself up personally with a 3-year structure to how you plan things, how you do things. Want to refinance or do something major? Is that something that we can wait till the next cycle? Or is that something we need to do now? And I know this seems really anal and crazy, but as somebody that's been through so much shit like I have been, these are the things that help give me confidence in my day-to-day. When someone asks me a question, having the structure, it's so easy for me to make decision making. And I'm going to tell you right now that one of the biggest things that I do, part of this transformation, is getting it to where you can make sound decisions. Having everything laid out so clearly, so that way when someone asks you, what are you going to do about this? You know exactly how to handle it, because you know your desired state and what you're working towards, and we're making efforts towards that. And no matter what matter comes up, it's going to help us make a decision quickly, because we're going to look at the whole game and be like, oh, yeah, this is how I want to handle this matter now, so that way it slingshots me towards my desired state. And if that doesn't happen, here's my other option. Like, what other ways can I use it to get there if option 1 doesn't work? And now we go to option 2, and so on and so forth. So having a 3-year cycle is important for this. And this is more on the business side. Again, I'm doing this practicing thing right here, talking about how we approach, life in general, business in general. It's first of all, we have to have some kind of grid. We all have a calendar. We all use calendars. And if you're not using a calendar, well, hey, we need to talk, because that's a big part of this too. Because once we get done with the 3-year, we have our 1 year. Every year, we're going to check in. So there's going to be a check-in every year. And this helps us make sure that we're on track. Now, personally, you can do this by yourself if you're doing this on your own. If you have a coach, this is something you can do with your coach. If you have a counselor, you can do this with your counselor even. It's once a year, take a step back from everything and talk about it from the big picture perspective. This right here, we call this the big picture perspective. Now, 1 year we're getting more granular, right? These are check-ins on the big picture. And then from 1 year, we go down to quarterly. So we're going to have quarterly checks. Or I call these reviews. Quarterly reviews, where we review the progress. I'm seeing I'm getting close to the point where if I start writing below, I guess, this line here, you guys won't be able to see it. If I make an X above that, oh, you can see it. See? All right, cool. Again, I'm practicing, so thank you for your understanding on that. All right, boom. So, quarterly. You're not going to be looking at the big picture quarterly. I mean, you can glance over it if you want, but don't spend too much time on it, because all these quarterly ones, we're not worried. We're focused on something different. We're focused on 2 pipelines. We have our objectives, and we have our matters. So objectives and matters. 2 pipelines. When I talk to my clients, and I explain to them how, as the technology or the IT department, if you will, because that's essentially what we come in and we act as if we're the IT department of that business. We have 2 funnels that we're working from, 2 pipelines. Objectives are projects, things we can control. Matters are issues or things we can't control, but we have to deal with them, even though we don't control them. You can get an audit. It wasn't planned, that just was put on you, it's out of your control. It's a matter that needs to be dealt with. You want to improve your financial system. Well, that's something you do have control over. So maybe that matter puts that objective into place, but working on your financial structure would be an objective. When you break everything down between these 2 pipelines, you're going to create a list of things that you need to get done that's within your control. And then you're also going to have another list of issues that you have to deal with and get knocked off. Now, the matters list, what we're trying to do is get that down to next to 0. Don't worry. You'll never get there. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be shit you got to deal with. The idea is for our service desk, for the matters that go on through the service desk with our 700 plus users, we're talking maybe 5 or 6 open on a daily basis. And sometimes those are things we're waiting on somebody to get back with us on or something, but we keep that list of tickets. Now, when we get into the 15 tickets open at once with our small team, that's when I set aside my objective work and go help the technicians with matters. If the technicians are all caught up on matters, there's nothing else for them to do. That's when they come over and help our team, the account management team. They're like, hey, what projects are you working on? What can I work on and help you with? And we have our list of objectives. And they should already have that. This is when I'd be assigning them tasks for those objectives as we go. So I know this is all very boring shit, but hey, stick with me here. This is breaking down. We have our time management, and now we have our, what would you call this? I call it objectives versus matters, but this is your operations right here. This is ops. So ops, and this is time. I crack myself up sometimes. Let's make sure y'all can read that just fine. So, me and my stupid drawings. All right. Let's talk about, we've talked about time management, objectives, and matters. We talked about how we break things down quarterly when we do reviews and things of that nature. We talked about the yearly check-ins, and then we look at the big picture with the 3-year cycles. There are 3 pillars that we use, whether it's personal or business. We have our internal and external, and this is identity. Internal communications, external communications. That's what that stands for. Then over here, we have our tech stack, we have our provided services, and we have the services we're managing for a client. And this is called the tech stack. That's this pillar. The tech stack is really the first pillar. And then over here, one of the most important pillars, which is your workforce. All right. Internal external communications, provided and managed portions of the tech stack. We have your gatekeepers, your leads, and your influencers. So, which makes up your workforce. All right. So, identity, tech stack, workforce. This right here essentially is the core of the master transformation plan. All right. We have our two pipelines, objectives and matters. Now, this objectives is managed by account managers. Matters are dealt with by technicians. So you call the service desk, technicians will take care of your problem when you have a problem. And if you're a gatekeeper or somebody in the admin team of our organizations that we support, you're going to get a hold of your main point of contact, your VCIO or fractional chief information officer, and you'll have your account management. So we have objectives and we have matters. We have the tech stack that we provide. So let's talk about this a little bit more. We've talked about objectives and matters a little bit. We just showed you guys these pillars, and let's talk about what they mean. The tech stack is made up, this portion of it is made up of 8 service groups. So we got our service groups. We have private cloud. We have workstations. We have M365 tenant. We have our unified comms. We have our infrastructure. We have our data vault or data center. Data vault. And we have web management. That's what makes up the P drive, is our service groups. The P, not the P drive. I'm tired and I have no idea what I'm doing. The P stands for provided portion of your tech stack. Our clients, the things that we provide them are from these 8 service groups. Private cloud is their firewalls, their networking. Workstations is making sure all their assigned assets are taken care of and are monitored. And we can quickly remote into them and access them, keep them patched and all that good stuff. M365 tenant is us managing your 365 tenant. If you're on GoDaddy, you don't have a 365 tenant. You may have 365, but you have a limited version of it, and it doesn't belong to you. It's GoDaddy's, and you have to log in through their single sign-on to get to your 365, meaning you don't have full control over the admin center of your 365. So we're talking about a tenant that you own. If you don't have that, if you're on GoDaddy, please call me. Get your shit off of GoDaddy. Let's get you where you need to be. Unified comms. I could have just said phones or VoIP, but we're talking all communications. Remember, communication is very important, and with technology, we have so many different ways to communicate. Digital signage, faxing, SMS over business lines, things of that nature. All that falls under unified communications. Infrastructure, servers, whether they're on premise or up in the cloud, whatever it may be. Most businesses have some form of, services running for their employees to access, whether it's a database, whatever it may be. And in your infrastructure, we need to make sure all your servers are, monitored, secured, all that good stuff. If you don't have a place to put your servers, well, that's great, because our next service group is data center. We have a private data center right now where we host everything. It's a very, nice high-end data center, but at the same time, we're cutting costs, and it's in a secluded location. And we don't have a redundancy of our data center, meaning we don't have two sites running the same stack in real time. So that is a downfall of our private small data center, but the cost of running in our data center is well worth it, especially if your small businesses, won't go out of business because you guys were without your database for 4 hours. If 4 hours without your database is going to detrimentally hurt your business, then yeah, that's what we put in things in Azure for. But if we can run these resources in our private data center, there you go. And regardless if it's in our data center or another data center, we're still going to put it under the data center. Data Vault, this is your backups of all your data. Regardless if it's on the workstations, well, hopefully we're not storing critical business information on somebody's hard drive on their local machine. Hopefully they're storing that in a database that's in the cloud or in a folder structure or file server that's cloud-based, such as SharePoint, which is what we love to use. And then web management. Web management's anything from your DNS, hosting your domain registration, everything under that realm falls underneath here. And we manage these 8 service groups. It's a monthly reoccurring revenue stream, right? So, clients that have all 8 service groups and want to be managed and wants us to help them with their workforce and their identity, we call those managed clients. So we have 3 different tiers. We have 1, reactive. Yeah, I can't spell. 2, pro. 3, managed. Okay. Yeah, take that in, if you will. It's a lot of stupid shit. I get it. Oh. There's so much to this whole system that I've created, and I need to learn how to talk about it in a workshop on this. Can you see where I'm going mad and crazy and internally and I'm doing this all by myself. I do have some feedback from some of my business partners and things that are helping me develop this for the most part, but I really need to get this out there. I need to get a group of people together to help make this better. And I have a lot of people that are interested at the time, but everybody's so busy. So we get all excited. We all get on phone calls but the best way for me to keep moving forward is to keep growing it and improving it and getting better at doing this video side of things, which is what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a break. It's a little after 2 o'clock. I'm going to get me something to eat. I haven't eaten anything yet today. I didn't even do my greens this morning. That's awesome. I'm going to come back to the studio here, and I'm going to work on a structure and do this again. And hopefully it's going to be a little bit more fluid. Realize as I was talking through all this that this is too granular. I need to stay above it, and I'm not sure where to start with this. And I can't talk about personal and business because they are different, and I'm going to confuse people when I talk about both of them at the same time. Because why would you have a quarterly or yearly check-in review? I mean, yes, 3-year system for personal, it does make sense to some degree. I have a feeling that and even I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to live my life looking at some grid to see if I'm living my life right. I don't want that. I need some freedom. I need to know that there's flexibility and I can, I don't plan every hour of every day. Trust me, my poor wife gets enough stress from my nonstop ball of energy that I have. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to get me something to eat. I'm going to work on my layout. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to record another video. Anybody watching this on LinkedIn, I need to start posting on LinkedIn. I don't know why I put this on LinkedIn. This is something I do on my private channels a lot. Just get on here and ramble and speak and test the waters out. Getting some concrete documentation here, which I have so much documentation all over the place. Getting some of that done and having somewhat of a workshop put together for me to get on here and then work that workshop online. Because what I'd love to do is have an online workshop at some point where people can just join from home and provide feedback and I can talk to them. But again, I do have some people that want to help out and maybe I can have one of them sit in and be a mediator and talk to chat and give me the questions that are being asked, things of that nature, and hopefully host an event and try to get a lot of people to show up and actually make it happen, Captain. So that's what I see happening is putting together a online workshop, getting people to do it. And if it goes well, get them to want to come to an online workshop, which here in the studio, which I know you can't tell, but we're on the camera where it's sitting at right now is not even halfway of this room. So this room is more than double from this wall behind me here to here. From this wall to that wall over there, it's double that. So if I can, and we have all these tables and chairs in here that I'll show you later maybe, but we can have a big workshop in here. And I think it would be super, super dope. So let's provide any feedback if you want. And I appreciate if you watched any of this. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get something to eat and come back here and get back to it. All right. Keep it heavy. Keep it real. And peace.